Hi there. I think today is a perfect day to be creative and talk about creativity. Um, yeah, as you can see in Atlanta, it's beautiful. I'm literally sitting in the middle of Piedmont Park. I'm trying to set up for some video and some journaling. I have my guitar. Okay, well, actually, both my guitars. I have more than two though, but I have my acoustic and my electric, and yeah, hoping to get some really great creative things going on today. But before I start, I'm warming up my voice, and I'm also feeling like I want to tell people about me as a creative person. And I don't know how I feel about what the future will bring when it comes to creatives and technology and things like that. But in a way, I feel like I've been waiting for this opportunity to finally come, and here it is. It's where those who know how to combine art and technology and ingenuity will, I don't know, they'll come out on top, I feel like. And there are people who are looking for those quick fixes, looking for those, I guess, things that will bring them instant success. And even though technology is here making things easier, doesn't mean that it makes success automatic either. All right, so as I am adjusting myself, I'm trying to stretch and position myself and put things in their right place at the same time while talking to you. So I'm multitasking a little bit. So my name is Monica Arrington. I'm a performer also known as Nerdkween, and I'm working on videoing today some songs I've been working on. They've been written, officially finished, I believe in 2017 or 18. I did a showcasing of them once, but I do perform them when I do have performances to give. They just have not been recorded yet, and maybe today with some video shooting, I will invite maybe some more process into recording. Now, I normally record myself musically, and I have since the beginning, and I can give you again more background about me. I grew up being a musician or a performer in some way or another. Like my family, my mother's side of the family, they're all pretty much musicians, and my dad's side of the family are, I don't know, I'm trying to look for the right word, and I'm always doing that. I'm always looking for the right word. Soothsayers, truth tellers, like finding the truth, seeking knowledge, things like that. So the combination of the two produces me. Somebody quirky, somebody who is pretty self-assured of herself. As again, as you will literally, I'm watching me get ready. Like I'm not, self-conscious to the point where I'm not afraid to take risk as an artist, as a creative person, trying out stuff, but I do have a vision. So it's always a vision in mind versus, ooh, is that a cloud? A vision in mind versus trying to follow a trend, trying to, I don't know. It's almost like I'm purposely not trying to have an audience sometimes. I don't know. There could be something around that too as well. But being quirky, being different, I've always, celebrated my being eccentric, not being a follower, always being sovereign. Not always. I hate absolutes. So nuance, celebrating uniqueness and nuance. So as I'm looking at my hair and I'm like, the humidity is good, but I don't know how good. So loving this overcast now. So yeah, so I'm Nerdkween. My name is Monica Arrington. I'm a performer that lives in Atlanta, Georgia. I put out my first recording in 2000. It was a cassette tape, and I have new music-ish, just not recorded yet. Just not recorded yet. And I think I was waiting for this revolution of technology to occur. And now that it feels like it's here, I think I'm ready to definitely showcase what I can do as a musician, as a performer, as a composer, lots of things. And yeah, I'm loving this cloud right now, so just trying to enjoy it as I can. And yeah, I've performed on most stages here in the city. Let me shout out some. The Earl, Drunken Unicorn, City, not City Wine, yeah, City Winery. Yes, I performed there. What's the other one down the way? Apache Cafe. I don't know if it's still around. Is it still around? Apache Cafe. I've played there. I've played the other stage that's near Apache. So, is it called Central? I know I'm botching it. Sorry, y'all. Smith's Old Bar. Pretty much downtown area, Atlanta. Also, I've played Decatur stage, Eddie's Attic. And I've traveled regionally to perform. This is my solo iteration as Nerdkween, but I'm also in a band. So I do, I guess, moonlighting in a band called Black Fox. It's like rock and roll, kind of think of a Nick Cave, evilly Neil Diamond. Evil Neil Diamond, yeah. That's about right. Evil Neil Diamond. But not evil, just truth telling. And sometimes, truth hurts. Truth hurts. So yeah, I never really wanted to be like famous in a way that a lot of people assume that I want to be famous. And that's the thing. People don't ask open-ended questions, they just assume. So, and I use that to my advantage as a performer. So I can tell you lots of stories of when I show up at a gig with my gear. Right now my cases are guitar shaped, but sometimes I have a case that looks like a big rectangle. But I've had people assume that I was a groupie, assume that I playing keyboards, which I do play keyboards, but just not in public. People, yeah, a lot of assumptions. I use gospel music, even though I can sing gospel music. Oh, I'm just an R&B singer, even though I could do it, but that's not what I do. And yeah, just a lot of assumptions that I actually play with. I don't get offended. I use it to my advantage. That's the magic of Nerdkween. Okay? We make lemonade out of lemons here. So yeah. And I can tell you a little bit about the new songs. When I say new songs, they are based on, I kind of got dry. I'm just be honest. Creativity. I got outgrew being a little autobiographical as a songwriter. So I started writing songs when I was about 11. Okay. So I started writing songs when I was about 11 years old. And it was a great way to express myself. A lot of the songs I never shared with people. Definitely autobiographical, so it was a great experience when I was learning how to songwrite over the years. And I went to college for music. No, let me walk it back a little bit. So I went to a high school that was like a creative arts type high school, and I went there part-time. And I learned how to sing opera, musical theater, do some dance. Yeah, so I was actually training to be a performer, training to be a performer, training to get my message out there, but then also having a love of history, science, philosophy, literature. I'm widening in my again, I always look for the right words, experience of culture. And yeah, I started off with a lot of Western culture teachings. Sadly, that's where, in my growing up, I had Western music teachings, Western literature, Western, all the things. But something always, seeded in me that I wanted to do more exploring. And I always wondered about that. And finding different ways to open up people's minds, not make them learn, but invite them in. And so, yeah, so I've always been curious, reader of books, curious about the world, love, and as you'll find that I'm also an educator, working on books, writing books, I am. And yeah, just chilling, enjoying life, philosophizing, helping, coaching, even long before the shutdown. So maybe I need to put some dates behind some of this. So yeah, my first recording came out in 2000. It was cassettes. They are out available, but not digitally. The cassettes, that is. Then I released, some more kind of, I would call them sketches. And I do have a recording called Sketches at Eddie's Attic. So that can be available. That is on my Bandcamp. I had Bandcamp when Bandcamp opened. Okay, so I was always looking for those innovations, those new ways to get my music out there. I never wanted to be signed. That was the thing. I never wanted to be signed, friends, because I learned about the music industry. I grew up on a farm and I had access to books. This was before the internet now. So I subscribed to magazines, trade magazines, fan magazines, well, just like Spin Magazine and Rolling Stone. But then I also read Musician Magazine, Guitar Magazine. So I had a lot of support in that area. So it wasn't like I was just living out in the middle of nowhere. I had support with that. So it taught me a lot about the industry and really intuitively thinking and seeing that there was nobody that looked like me. The only thing that was close at the time was Tracy Chapman. And maybe, like, let's say, even in the 90s, there was Dion Ferris and Desiree, which I won a talent show singing her song, You Gotta Be. Actually, I think it was second place, but yeah, it got me some prizes. So women like that, and then of course India Ari. But the common denominator was having a place where you can really express yourself. Hi. I'm sorry, no, I don't let people play my instruments.
What brand is it?
This is a Seagull.
Shitty brand.
Yeah. So, yeah, I found my way to really understanding that I wanted to express myself in my own way. Now, sidebar, you just saw that. I didn't stage that. I don't know who that is. Atlanta is, see, this is where quirky and uniqueness combine. Yeah, I don't let people play my guitar because I don't know them. And when I was teaching people how to play guitar, I would also tell them that unless you know they can play guitar, please don't let people touch your instruments. Okay? Because I don't know you. So yeah, the common denominator was those artists, except for Desiree, Dion Ferris, NDRE. I think she was out right around the time I was still in college, but just knowing Atlanta was the hub, Atlanta was the place. And when I graduated college, I knew I wanted to locate here in the city because I was actually looking to go to Georgia State. And other stories that could come around with that in that there were not a lot of colleges that were nurturing music industry, except for Georgia State at the time. They had a music industry program. I really wanted to go to Georgia State for this program. Unfortunately, I did have a scholarship, and my scholarship would not allow me to leave the state I was living in currently to get to Georgia State. But literally, the month that I graduated my college, which is Auburn University, I moved here to Atlanta. And that next semester, I at least took 1 year at Georgia State because that's how badly I wanted to be in the industry, doing my own thing rather than looking for approval and validation from other people. I came up with the name Nerdkween in high school because I did ideally want to make my own record label. I have friends who have done that. I don't know if I want to do that, but that's kind of where it all stemmed from. Me in high school, kind of trying to come up with like a name or icon, some kind of something that would help me stand out. And it would also identify who I am. I'm a nerd. And I'm okay with that. I'm so okay with that I am the queen of them. And I celebrate my quirkiness, and I celebrate my uniqueness, and I celebrate my intelligence and my spunk. And I'm okay with that, so I'm not a follower. So I definitely want people to realize that I'm okay being different, and I want other people to realize it's okay being different. It is okay. So yeah, I have my things, like I brought some fun things like my hat. I brought my other little thing. So this is also something that's signature to me. This is my little red radio. I also have experimental tendencies, and that's a part of my MO, where I have ambience, lots of ambient sound. I play with ambience. I do a lot of composition around noise and ambience. I fell in love with noise when I first started listening to like free jazz, I guess, and the group The Art of Noise. Okay, again, if you know, The Art of Noise really sparked that in me. And when I was in school, in high school that is, and I was songwriting, I just really did have that vision of being able to take sound and mold it, but I really just did not have the words yet. I was still learning how to songwrite in general in high school, and learning how to use my voice, learning how to move well in space, right? So I was really looking into developing my craft, not being famous, okay? Developing my craft. And yeah, as I feel like my voice now is a little bit more open, and like I said, the skies are clear and lovely. And let me get the computer up and running. That's the one thing I totally got sidetracked on. And might have some random people show up, just like the guy before. Again, listen, Atlanta is like that. And if you just go out and explore, you might surprise yourself. And a lot of times, I've lived here since 1999, okay? And you might surprise yourself. Like, really branch out. This is a place where it's a big town, but it's a little town too. You can find your own little pocket to hang out in. And because I have so many interests, I've already filmed me going adventuring and stuff and meeting up with people I know in this world that I've kind of created and developed, worked on purposefully. A girl growing up on a farm in the rurals of Alabama to here in the wonderful place of Atlanta. I learned, how to open myself up enough to be who I really am. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of times people are looking for what to be so that they can be accepted. And I do believe Brene Brown is famous for saying, you know what, you don't have to fit in. You're looking for belonging, just be who you are. Just belong. And those people will find you. Right? And that's what I kind of did over the years. I was who I am, and people came. I did not have to pretend. I did not have to wear a mask. I did not have to listen to certain things. In a lot of ways, I had to push back on a lot of things. I had to push back on me being natural even in 1999, okay? No, actually even further back, because when I went into college, I no longer got my hair chemically processed. So the 90s, dealing with that, and people saying, oh, you should lock your hair. When you got here, it was all about, you should lock your hair, you should lock your hair. It's like, I don't want to lock my hair. I want it to be this, okay? And being sovereign when other people want you to conform, it's interesting living a life like that, and I'm not saying that, oh, okay, hopefully my Wi-Fi is working. Sorry, I got distracted yet again. It looks like my Wi-Fi is working. Okay. And yeah, so this is just an intro to me, just hanging out at the park with me. I hear somebody bongoing in the distance. It's pretty chill out here, for all the people who are like, I wish I could meet people in Atlanta. It's like, just go outside, y'all. Here we are. We're out here. Go to stuff. And that's another thing. You can't not have anything to do in Atlanta. You really can't. I play shows. My friends play shows. Music. Okay? There's parks. There's festivals. There's always something going on in this town. Okay? I don't want to be the tour guide of Atlanta, but if I had to be, I could just point out so many things. I think that's just the newscaster, but the botanical gardens are back there. Again, I'm in the park. There's so many things you can do. Museums, restaurants, really good ones. Explore. So that's what I would say. Explore your mind, explore your heart. Really try, make an effort, And a lot of my songs, I can tell you about them in just a moment. A lot of my songs are about being yourself, So I'm back to that. So yes, so the songs that are new, they are based on a children's story because, yeah, I got really tired of just autobiographical songwriting. And I'm not knocking that, and it's not that I will never go back to it, but I needed an exercise. And I gave this exercise to myself that after my first recording that came out in 2008, I do have 2 CDs out. So the 2008 CD, Synergy, came out, and then the 2010 CD came out, Profit and Loss. By then, I was ready for, just a change for myself, to be able to explore different aspects of myself as a creative person. So I decided I wanted a project. So I made a project for myself. And I thought about different stories that I loved growing up. And this was also around the time where I got into education. So I'm a I'm a K5 teacher. I was about to say K12, but my license is K5. I'm a K5 teacher, okay? And I used to love telling or retelling the stories that I grew up on to the kids. And I was like, that's it. That is it. There's an age bracket of kids and families that are kind of being ignored. I feel like there might be a little bit more in the atmosphere now, but at the time, around 2010, I was like, there are kids from 8 to 12 that there's no music meant for them in that. Yes, there's music for the toddlers, the babies. Then there's, I would say pop music and rock music is for those 12 and up. But what about the age group that is like right there in between? And it made me think about literature as well, because in school, and again, this was back in 2010, before, all the other things that are happening now are happening, we would teach kids character development lessons around novels. There's still some great novels out there that people are still using, but they were very much like real life situations. Think of like novels like Call of the Wild, like going to the classics, or what we call the classics, right? So Call of the Wild, Pounder, so those where some heavy things are happening, like in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, those kids are getting those kind of novels, and they need them. They need them in a safe environment so that they can learn how to navigate themselves and understand that there are others out there like them, emotionally wise, and you're not alone in the world when it comes to certain things. Character wise, not talking about like trends. I'm not talking about who's listening to who and peer pressure. I'm not talking about any of those things. I'm actually talking about internal, like personal development. That's another thing I am into, personal development. So yeah, so there's those things. And I was like, man, there really needs to be some songs around that kind of thing that are meant for kids and families to listen to, enjoy, talk about, and learn from. So yeah, so that's kind of where my idea came from. And I wrote 10 songs based on a children's story that I loved when I was young. The name of the children's story is The Steadfast Tin Soldier. And my I love this story. It was tragic. Maybe I was in love with tragedy long before I was emo, before it was emo, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so it was tragic, but it also had a really great message, I think. And it had an openness enough to where I could freely interpret other characters. So I invite people to read the story. Every time I perform it live in the world, I invite people to read the story. I'm trying to promote literacy and critical thinking skills and things like that. All right, so yeah, so the songs are based on this children's story, and the main character is a toy. All the characters are toys pretty much, and then there's some humans, but they're not main characters. And every time I talk about it though, people are always saying, oh, that reminds me of Toy Story. So I don't know if it is, but I just know I read Hans Christian Andersen's Steadfast Tin Soldier when I was 8 years old, and I loved it, okay? So that's what I know. All right. So yeah, so I guess the title will be Steadyfast for these songs. I can talk about these songs, and I can record these songs. So again, I'm kind of waiting for good light. I think this is as good as it's gonna get. I mean, I'm in an open field, by the way. Oh yeah, it's good as it's gonna get. So, going to be recording. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you are welcome in my kingdom, queendom, that is. I welcome critical thinkers, dreamers, truth finders. Yeah. Be open. Be open, right? I am gonna leave that in with the guy coming by. It's like sometimes I do bring the quirky, and that's another thing. Like sometimes quirky things happen around me because I bring the quirky. So yeah, so having an Asian guy ride up on a scooter and trash talk your guitar, that's a thing. It happens. But yeah, all right. So with that, I say take care.